everyone! This past week we got a brand new drone show over at Disney Springs called Disney Dreams That Soar. Today what we're going to be doing is going through every single reference that is found inside of that show, because there were a few that I missed on my first watch, and after watching it a second time I was like, that's who that was. So today what we're going to do is we're going to go shot by shot throughout the show so you know exactly who the characters are, so you can look out for them the next time you watch the show. Let's look at this. So the entire show starts off with a famous fairy going over it, aka Tinkerbell going over the castle at the start of most Disney movies. This time it's just a light going through the sky, but it is followed closely by a giant Big Ben in the sky with Peter Pan going, "Here we go!" Of course, a reference to the movie Peter Pan. What I also like about this scene is you can see two stars in the sky for a second star to the right and straight on to morning. The following scene is going to be Dumbo, with Timothy the Mouse being the one who is speaking to us, and we see a red balloon behind him because of course this is going to naturally take us into our next scene, which is going to be Carl and Ellie's house from the movie Up, a Pixar film. Now, one of the nice things about this entire show is it doesn't focus solely on Disney films, but it does focus on all characters or things that soar in different Disney, Marvel, Pixar, or Star Wars films, which we're going to get to more as we go through here. We then see the marigold flowers from Coco. Of course, we do start to hear some of the voices from Coco as well. The first character we see is Pepita, one of the spirit guides from the Land of the Dead in the film. Shortly after that, we do see Dante in dog form, and then of course we see Dante transform over into his spirit guide form as well. The next two characters we're going to see are Wally and Eve, of course from the 2008 Pixar film, Wally. One of the things I do like about this scene is how you can see the little spark when they touch together, much like in the film, where you can kind of see like it's like a kiss, but it's not actually a kiss. Wally and Eve are followed shortly by the twin sons of Tatooine, aka the planet that Luke Skywalker and Anakin Skywalker grew up in. One of my favorite things that I did not notice the first time was that it's actually the setting sun. So if you look at the lower right hand sun, you can notice that as it goes down, it actually starts to dip into the horizon. This is followed shortly by the Death Star, also from Star Wars A New Hope. And during this, you can actually see the battle taking place with the green and red lasers from the Rebellion and the Empire during the massive Battle of Yavin. And then, of course, you can hear Luke Skywalker blowing up the Death Star, and the entire thing blows up into at least 800 pieces because that's how many drones there are. The next character we can find is Baymax from Big Hero 6, and he eventually switches into his superhero outfit, where we hear Hero go through and explain to him that he needs to extend his wings and then also put on his thrusters as well, where we get a really cool image of him flying through the sky. Shortly after Baymax disappears, we then see the Milano, aka the ship that Star-Lord flies in Guardians of the Galaxy, and then we get into one of the most complicated sections of the entire thing, because we see a cassette tape there, and then we see a bunch of different colors going through the sky, and while they go through, you see different characters pop up, starting off with Rocket Raccoon there dancing away, followed shortly by Star-Lord himself. Then we see Groot in Baby Groot form, followed by Mantis and Drax there. Drax refuses to dance, but he points out that there are two different types of people, those who dance and those who do not. We then see Yondu, who points out, "I'm Mary Poppins, y'all," a famous line from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, who is followed by Gamora, who points out that she's going to die by idiots. Then the final outline that we see is Nebula, aka Gamora's sister. We then hear Buzz Lightyear say, "To infinity and beyond," when we see Buzz Lightyear pop up on screen. And then we see Yondu, Mary Poppins actually herself, fly up in the sky, followed by Zero from The Nightmare Before Christmas, and Elliot from Pete's Dragon, and the magic carpet from Aladdin. A Tinkerbell-style light flies through the sky as it reveals other characters like Sisu from Raya and the Last Dragon, then Ray from The Princess and the Frog. Following Ray, the entire sky is lit up with a character that most people around me had no idea who it was. This is going to be Moon Girl. Moon Girl is from a comic book series and a television series called Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. You can actually watch the series on Disney+. It is an animated series. It's a Marvel show that's geared more towards little kids, but at the same time, it's pretty entertaining if you want to watch it. I've watched every episode, and I don't think it's the greatest Marvel thing, but it's worth checking out. But most people around me had no idea who this was when she popped up on the screen. In addition to that, you can also hear the theme song for Moon Girl during the pre-show. So while you're waiting for the show to actually start, they play a lot of different music. One of them is going to be this song specifically. We'll also talk a little bit about the pre-show music in just a second for another one of the characters coming up. We can then find Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather, the three fairies from Sleeping Beauty, pop up in the sky. And right after they disappear, we then can see Figment from Journey into Imagination with Figment over at Epcot appear. And right after that, we have Mando, aka Mandalorian, along with Groot, aka Baby Yoda, appear in the sky. We then see three of my favorite character appearances in the entire show. The first one that pops up is going to be Launchpad McQuack, who originally debuted in the old DuckTales series and then in Darkwing Duck. When there's trouble, you call DW, Darkwing Duck. And eventually he would make appearances in the new DuckTales series as well. Then we can also find the Orange Bird. Again, we can have the Orange Bird music is found during the pre-show as well. The person next to me was surprised that there was a song for the Orange Bird. It's been around since the 1970s, so I don't know where that guy's been. But in addition to that, we can also find Pegasus, aka Hercules' horse, on the left-hand side. After those three characters start to disappear, then we can see Princess Ada from A Bug's Life, along with the character that drove me crazy the first time I watched this show, because I could not figure out who this was, and this is what I was talking about earlier when we're going to talk about the pre-show music again. But right below Ada, we have Morph from the movie Treasure Planet, and the first time I watched it, I was like, I can't figure out who this is. And for the hour and a half between the 9 o'clock show and the 10:45 show, I was racking my brain trying to remember who this character was, and I kept on looking at the picture, and I thought it was just like an out of proportion version of Dot from A Bug's Life, and I was thinking maybe I was just sitting in a weird angle that I couldn't see it, and then it hit me it was Morph, because during the pre-show music for the 10:45 show, one of those songs that they played was from Treasure Planet, and as soon as I heard that song turn on, I was like, oh, that's Morph! And I love Morph, so I feel really bad that I forgot who it was, or that I didn't recognize him initially. But that's Morph from Treasure Planet. A great character, so Morph, I apologize if you ever watched this. I can't believe that I could not remember who you were for a second. Right after Morph disappears, then we see the Rocketeer appear from the classic live action film, and then the genie from Aladdin also appears up on the screen. This is followed closely by Star from the movie Wish that just came out last year, and then after that, Tinkerbell appears in the sky, and Tinkerbell throws a magic wand across the screen. Well, maybe she just, not a wand, but she makes the sky change with different sparkly things in the sky, and it eventually has it so it pops up saying Disney Dreams That Soar, aka the name of the show. Overall, I absolutely loved this show. I think it's one of the best nighttime spectaculars that we've gotten in recent years. I think it was extremely well done. I don't think it has the greatest storyline in the world, but at the same time, I love the music, I love the drones, I love the visuals, and I know this is a limited time thing, but I really hope that Disney changes their mind and keeps it for a lot longer, because even when I was leaving this area to finish watching the show, they had so many survey people there, and every single one of them was asking the guests around me. They didn't choose me, but I heard them talking to different guests. Every single time they were asking, would you want this to stay around for a lot longer? And every person was like, yes, definitely keep this. So I cannot wait to go back and watch the show again. I have now watched it 3 times. I plan on watching it 300 more, as long as they keep it around for 300 more days. So let me know in the comments, have you watched the show? Who was your favorite character that appeared? As always, if you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe, and we will see you once again tomorrow. Oh yeah.